It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talks Flicks podcast. I'm your host, the Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. And ladies and gentlemen, this past week, I went back to Worlds. There's some strange worlds. I went back there. And I'm gonna get at the first couple things. I want to give a big shout out to Chicago. Got some plays in Chicago, so to speak. Gracias, gratitude, todo va. And Chicago, I had to do some business with someone from the area. He's a great dude, very nice, great customer service, phenomenal guy. Awesome. I appreciate you helping me out. Very cool. Thank you very much. Shout out to you, your city, all that. I hear Chicago's phenomenal. I know some other people in Chicago as well. Phenomenal. Love this. So from my stomping grounds in Cap City to Chicago, we appreciate you. So thanks, Albert. I appreciate that. And additionally, this episode is brought to you by the album called The Lucha Of Language by Che Mysterio, which is me. Me and Che Cortez took up the alias Che Mysterio to the album called The Lucha Of Language, which is heavily influenced by my family, by Lucha Libre Wrestling, by words, by pro wrestling, just by everything. So anyways, if you want to hear the experimental spoken word, avant-garde, electronic, hip-hop album with me, also some guests, Sons of Calvin's on there. Also, so is the one and only rhyme artist. Yeah, he blessed the track again. Yeah, and one of my family members on there as well. So if you want to hear that, I'll put it below. Check it out now. Let's get on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this past week, we boldly went where Star Trek rarely goes. They don't go to this place that often. So I'm about to spoil this, so if you don't want to be spoiled, do not listen. But if you're okay to be spoiled or already seen it, let's go. So this episode, Kirk, Spock, and Lan find this ship called the Griffin. They go to the ship, the Griffin, they explore it, and it turns out there's some very unclear, very strange phenomena happening on the ship. Can't even say paranormal. Now they talk about this Division 12 in the Star Trek world, and I thought this was the first I heard of it, but apparently there was another Strange New Worlds episode where they mentioned it briefly. I saw the episode, I couldn't recall that. So they've talked about this Division 12 twice in Star Trek history. Once in Strange New Worlds earlier, and then again in Strange New Worlds. And then basically when Starfleet can't figure it out scientifically and it's just unexplainable, pretty much they would call Division 12. So it's kind of like their paranormal way. So I find it very interesting because like Starfleet has the intelligence agency, they've got the CIA, MI6 type spies and all that. And I got the paranormal division that handles this. Now, before we get into the episode itself, I just want to say that the path of Trek going forward is like there's so much opportunity. In this particular place, Division 12, while it's not my cup of tea, I could see people out there being interested in this kind of thing. So if you do movies or TV shows or cartoons or whatever medium, it's comic books, whatever, there would definitely be a fan base for some paranormal thing. You know this is true. Horror movies are huge. This kind of thing is huge right now. It's been huge for a long time. So Star Trek goes that route with some kind of something. Yeah, people eat it up. Like I said, it's not my favorite thing, but you have to watch it. Right? I just feel that this is another area of space where they can, grow the brand or the company or the franchise or Star Trek in general, the universe, into a space that's not been tapped in that much. Now, if I remember correctly, back in '66, there's like Cat's Paw. I think it's the third season of the original series, can't remember one specifically. And that's kind of paranormal-ish, it's Halloween-ish, right? It dives into that. There was no mention of Division 12, this is a new phenomenon, but they've touched on it here and there. I think Voyager might have as well. So this is a very interesting idea. I like that they thought this up. This is interesting. They could go a lot of places with this. I could see this being a really big thing. So anyways, now to the episode. Now in this episode, it seems that there's some kind of, for lack of a better term, entity on this Griffin ship. And this Griffin entity seems to use the person's mind on the ship to tap into their brain, their thoughts or mind, and basically maybe try to manipulate those thoughts and ideas to make them do a certain thing, see a certain thing, scare them, make them fearful. I'm not really particularly sure what the motive of what this entity or whatever this thing is on the Griffin was. But in this episode, you see Spock Kirk, and Leon deal with this. And they all handle it different ways because it's based on what's in their own mind. Now, out of the three, Spock seems to handle it the best because while he's half human, he does kind of operate in logic quite a bit. This is his main way of dealing with things. And so, like, you see him really weather it the best. He was able to snap himself out of it with his own mind, right? By reciting poem of all those things. Now, side note, someone that does spoken word, rapping, rhyming, podcasting, someone that's a man of words. The hip hop I would do, I've used to recite in my mind my own lines and other people's lines to empower me and kind of snap me out of things, give me the right direction, maybe go forward, right? And I've used it many times, so I understand that part. Where Spock uses this, this poetry, poem to kind of snap out of the, for lack of a better term, trance. And so, so it's very cool. I like that. And you can see how Kirk reacts, being full human, and Leon, who's Romulan human, I believe. I think that's correct. Not sure how she handles it. Now, with Leon, she taps into some carnal vibes where she just becomes like a killer, for lack of a better term. And she basically stabs Captain Kirk, like seriously. Like, the entity's telling her, you can be free. You can be your true self, right? And the show tries to make it seem, or maybe in her own mind, she feels her true self is a killer. I mean, for lack of a better term. Now, this kind of challenges what I believe personally, because I think as a baby, we kind of learn in a program along the way. Because a baby don't know these concepts, a baby don't know any of these things, right? And so, like, to show that maybe Leon is, like, born this way. Now, I've been thinking about this quite a bit over, like, the last 15, 20 years. And I just kind of side on what program, but I know some people are born this way. I've read some books recently that says it as well. And so in the show, they try to make it seem like that she's that way. And there's another episode where the same thing happens, where she taps into that Romulan side. She just becomes like a very nasty Machiavellian, kind of way. And so, like, with that particular space, it's like nature nurture kind of thing. The thing they've been talking about for years. And in this particular space, they're trying to say it is the nature, right? And I don't know if I'm buying that or not. I still have to do some more thinking about that. And then Kirk too. Kirk, his kid, his not being a good father. Like, they go deep into their own minds. Now, I've had personal experience in real life where I've kind of sort of been in this territory in my own unique way that I could outside of here. Where my own mind, my own thoughts, my own experiences is kind of doing this in its own way. Not to this extent, but to very light compared to this. These thoughts you're bringing, these things that's been done or not done, or you're imagining. You're challenged, am I cool? Am I good? Am I okay? Am I all right? Am I a bad father? I've never been a father. Everybody this or that. Like, I think a lot of us do that a lot. To sit with your own mind, and your own mind can be nasty sometimes. You have to face some things that you just don't want to. It can be scary, fearful place, like seriously. And I understand at the end there, I keep asking her, are you okay? Sometimes after those instances, you're not okay right away. Sometimes you have to kind of just decompress some of the things. As someone that's walked this path and it really deep dive in my mind, there's been moments where I just kind of, let me just chill and just decompress a bit and recover from this. And it's all just mental stuff, right? If there's any lesson from this episode, the mind is super, super powerful. The thoughts, the ideas, the experiences, the emotions in that, they can be very taxing on your mind and body, like they're exhausting sometimes. I have lived this, like, for real. So real quick to close this out, I have moved in the direction to be more Spock-like, logic-like, Buddhist-like, meditative-like, and think clear like that. And it has served me well. Sometimes I teeter too much on that side, but it does help me deal with problems and emotions more concisely, clearly. And you see in the episode, it shows that he does the best out of the three. And I do think a clear mind and in some moments taking emotion out of situations is necessary, in my opinion. A lot of other people disagree, but for me, in order to solve problems more clearly, the Spock way is the way for me. And I was watching the episode, the way he interacts, I was like, I do that. And I'm not even exaggerating. I analyze and look at things the way Spock does. And it's not by design. I wasn't trying to emulate him. I just naturally gravitated that way by all the books I've read, study I've done. It just that's the way I move and think about virtually everything. So anyways, this is a great episode. As usual, Strange New World is phenomenal. You should definitely check it out and check out all the rest of the Star Trek universe. And also, side note, Paramount, bro, they stepping up. The Lioness is back. The Agency, Star Trek, just to name a few. UFC, there's just so much stuff at Paramount, bro. So anyways, I appreciate you listening. You guys are great. Awesome. Hope you have a great summer. And until next time, we'll see you. Live long and prosper. Spock. Until next time, it's Captain Peace.
The Captain Talks Flicks.